It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest who began to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like it, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonderful and powerful works, ending in effects and signs. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halor Ilah Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Rule Web, and great example to his younger brothers in the truth, peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this edifying, and I'm gonna get into this measured out of time diligently, So we're gonna get right into it. Lord willing, this edifying.
Good evening. Super light buzz today. Definitely no anxiety over here. This story is one of the weirdest coincidences ever. People living in eastern Ohio evacuated their homes last week following a train derailment and chemical spill that sent toxic chemicals into the air. The crazy thing is, they did the same thing for a fictional disaster film a year ago.
Something that could actually kill someone.
Let's watch a sitcom or something.
Evacuate all places of residence.
All right, I'm going to break this down here.
Today, the EPA said the train that derailed and caught fire in East Palestine, Ohio, was carrying and actually released more toxic chemicals than was first reported.
That major train derailment in Ohio. Hundreds were forced to evacuate, and now they're complaining of headaches and sore throats. And what's even worse, some animals are dying.
People say their animals have become sick.
Don't tell me it's safe. Something's going on if the fish are floating in the creek.
The movie is called White Noise. It came out on Netflix in November. It stars Adam Driver. The premise of the movie is this: a freight train derails and explodes, and families have to flee the toxic fallout. The film was shot all over Ohio. It features extras in vacation scenes, including a family from New Palestine. Ben Ratner and his family filmed a scene where they were sitting in a traffic jam of people who were trying to evacuate. Then, last week's train derailment in real life and fire happened less than a mile from their home. They had to leave for real.
Yeah.
Isn't this wild?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, the simulation is not even good. It's crazy. They stayed at town over a while authorities conducted a controlled burn to get rid of those chemicals. The EPA says there's no longer a risk to people in that area, but the family is not so sure. They told CNN they are not thinking that they're ever going to go back.
Man, at least they weren't in Don't Look Up.
So they made a film basically about what happened with that train derailment a couple months ago. You know, and that's just the witchcraft. That's basically how Esau tell people what he's gonna. Esau let you know what he gonna do through his movies. You know, that's why they call Hollywood Hollywood, because they go back to that on the holly tree or something like that, and that's what the wizards they be having the wands, the ones that is supposed to be made out of the holly tree, and they cast spells and stuff with it. And that's what they do through their movies, through their news, through their uh, um, media, social media, all they different medias, and that's a media, a media is a deity that they worship. So Esau is the Esau is he's enchanting the people, and by him putting it in your face, he hide things in plain sight. He basically putting in your face, man. That yeah, this what we do. This what we finna do, and they act it out. They tell you in their movies. You know, they slip things out in different different press conferences and stuff like that. G7 summits, all these different things. They tell you before they do it. Then they act it out. once they told you, just like the prophet tell you what the Lord finna do before he do it. And then the Lord gonna act it out through his prophet, like the video I made. But let's get this Isaiah chapter 47 and verse Isaiah chapter 47 and I start at one. It say, "Come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit down on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans." And when you go to Babylon and the Chaldeans, those were the witches and warlocks of Babylon, the Chaldeans. But the scripture calling this the daughter of Babylon and daughter of the Chaldeans. You know, and Babylon go back to confusion. And the Chaldeans, those were the witches and warlocks, the priests of Babylon. You know, those top um enchanters. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And the Lord is speaking of America in on this chapter. He's not talking about actual Babylon. It say, take the millstone and grind meal, uncover the locks, make bare the legs, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, and thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Say, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender, and thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand through transatlantic slave trade. You know, going back, you know, to uh before the transatlantic slave, the Cristobal Colon coming over here conquering. You know, we was given 7 AD. Esau took us down. You know, but he ain't really get us into his hands into slavery, really, because the dark nation was ruling after 70 AD. So we wasn't in his hands yet, but we was put into this devil's hands. We was in his hands during the Greek and Roman Empire, and then we got back in his hands during. That's why I say this talking about America. We got back in his hands during the slavery, man, going back to 1590 or whenever Cristobal Colon came over here and massacred the natives of North, South, and Central America, and then his partners in crime came over here in 1619 to finish the job and enslaving us, bringing over the so-called Southern Kingdom. You Negroes, you Negroes, you so-called blacks, Negroes, West Indies, and Haitians to this side of the world from the West Coast and Northern hemisphere of Africa. You know, it say I was wroth with my people and I polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hands. Thou shewed them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, and thou saidest, I will be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to mind. That thou did not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end. Yeah, so Esau didn't think of how he was gonna be judged for what he done to this man. You know, these so-called white people, which are the Edomites, not so-called Edomites, they are the Edomites. These so-called white people, which are the true biblical Edomites, they ain't think about the letter end when they was doing all the heinous acts to Israelites. It say, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given unto pleasure and dwellest carelessly, that say in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Yeah, 'cause that's how America come. It say, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and what they do with their movies, that is sorcery. All these different movies, even your so-called black films, they could that's enchantments. That's sorcery, you know, because they molding people until the way they want. They molding you black people, you so-called black people, to the way they want you to act, and you niggas fulfill it to the T, man. Medill, boys in the hood, don't be a menace. Uh, uh, Scarface, um, you know, just any kind of Friday, how high, whatever you can think of, nigga fulfilled it to a T, man. Your BET, these rappers, entertainers, they casting spells and enchantments on you, man. But what they doing ain't gonna be able to get them out of this destruction that's gonna come. All this, all that dark magic that they mastered is not gonna get them out of their destruction that's gonna come upon this earth, man. And that's what the Lord's saying. It say, it say for it say for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am and none else besides me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, therefore Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it ariseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now in thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. See, the Lord went to boasting on this nigga. Thou art weird in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now thy astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And these people are not going to be able to save Babylon. All this enchanting that they be doing, all this, you know, putting stuff in plain sight and enchanting the people. They ain't gonna be able to deceive the elect. Neither are they gonna be able to do enough black magic to get them out of being destroyed, man. You know, so they're gonna be judged for what they doing. The Lord finna come see about you fucking Edomites, man. And everybody, and you other heathens, and 2/3 of our own people, man. Lord finna get ready to come see about wickedness, and he gonna put it out the earth, man. And how he gonna put it out the earth? He gonna put 2/3 of our people to death. He gonna put a whole bunch of heathens to death, and every heathen or 2/3 that make it out of it, when the Israelites come back down, the heathen gonna be put into captivity, and the Israelites that don't conform gonna be put to death, man. Simple as that.
True. Could have ended a little bit
It could have
differently.
been that way
But
with that.
you said you saw this movie.
Don't Look Up is kind of coming true right now. I mean,
Yeah.
with the four different objects
No, thank you.
in the sky.
50 cars went off the track near the Pennsylvania border, causing a day-long fire in that area. It looked like there was a mushroom fire, which was quite concerning in that area.
It's been 12 days since the fiery derailment of a train carrying hazardous chemicals through East Palestine, Ohio. Ohio officials confirming some 3,500 fish died in local waters in the days after the derailment.
This train apparently was not considered a high hazardous material train. Therefore, the railroad was not required to notify anyone here in Ohio about what was in the rail cars coming through our state.
I mean, this mayor went on. He had so many different press conferences. At one point, he told the people who live in a certain area they were going to die. Anyway, at this particular press conference, he went on to say this is absurd and Congress needs to take a look into the situation.
This the book of Hosea, chapter 4, and verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out in blood such as blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwell therein shall languish. with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yeah, and the fish also, um, and the fish and the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. And that's what's happening, man. The fish are being taken away. The fowls are falling out the sky. People pets getting sick from Esau polluting the earth, man. And Esau did this. We know that, but it's still the Lord causing this man to do these things, and it's still fulfilling prophecy. No matter how you put it, no matter who did it, no matter what, man. Everything leads back to prophecy. Everything leads back to thus said the Lord. This Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. Yeah, so the earth is defiled under the inhabitants of who? These so-called white people. The earth was given into their hand. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Yeah, and that's why the Lord gonna sweep this place with the besom of destruction, man, because fire is a cleansing agent, and that's the only way the Lord is gonna renew and cleanse this earth is through fire. The earth's not gonna be destroyed, but it's gonna be a hell of a lot of burning up going on. Hell of a lot of, the earth gonna melt with fervent heat, and the elements that are therein are gonna be burned up, man. And that's how the Lord gonna clean the earth. This Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Yeah. So the Lord is gonna destroy them which destroy the earth. Going to who? Esau, Edom. These nations gonna come, and America, is the hub, you know, the control center of Edom. This is the capital place for these Edomites, where they controlling the earth, ruling the earth. You know, they influencing the earth, polluting the earth from here. You know, and this is the most polluted place on the earth, Babylon the Great, man. America. North America is the most polluted place you can step foot, man. In every which way, shape, form, and fashion. This Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, literally polluted, physically polluted, spiritually, mentally. It's just through, man. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction. So the Lord telling us to come up out of this place, man. This not living, man. This you ain't breathing fresh air. You not drinking pure water. You ain't eating real food. You know, like, come on, man. You not getting the truth. You been fed lies, which is polluting your mind, defiling you, causing you to err from your stray away further from the Creator of the heavens and earth, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, which is gonna lead to your death. Come out of this place, man. And if not, shit, stay here and die. Either way it goes, it's gonna go down. And hey, you'll rather be on the right side than the left.
Officials are assuring people in that area it's safe, it's okay to return. There are precautions despite complaints of persisting odors, reports of sick and dead animals, contaminated water. Some of the chemicals on the train are known to cause cancer.
Surveillance footage also shows the train on fire about 20 miles before it derailed with hazardous chemicals as it passed through Salem, Ohio. Officials lifted an evacuation.
It was all if, man. They planned to do that, and ain't no telling what they released in the air, man. Ain't no telling what those people breathed in that's going down the line cause something else. That's how you always gotta look at stuff when Esau do stuff like this, man. Or it could have just been a distraction. It's probably gonna mess people up, but it could have just been a distraction to keep people minds off something else he was doing. And that's another thing Esau do. Diversion, if I ain't mistaken.
Evacuation order for residents Wednesday saying the air and water are safe.
The state's Department of Natural Resources reports nearly 8 miles of waterways in the Ohio River are contaminated. At least 3,500 fish have died, and some residents say their cats and chickens have died.
So now they're even more concerned because they were told it was safe to go back. They've been drinking the water. Now they're told you can't drink the water.
Brockovich says questions remain as to the extent of the contamination. She says areas in neighboring Pennsylvania could also be affected. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
And that's pretty much the point. That's pretty much the point, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to end it giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, rule where been a great example to the younger, great to the truth, peace and blessings to the hopeful lit, Lord willing, edifying. Shalom. Kwame Yashala in the Bible. Shalom.